Breaking news from a wonky world of cockwombles, because, quite honestly, there's so much refuse to acknowledge what's happening here in the UK and what's being done to you. I would say this, you know, if you carry on like this with your head in the sand, it's always going to be so much easier, isn't it, for the government to take you right up the reefs. What would you like them to do? Would you like them to what? Auction off a kidney, maybe? I mean, what use is a fucking 85-year-old kidney? It's probably knackered. It's had that much piss go through it over a whole lifetime. They can't sell one of them. What do you want them to sell? Their eyeballs, well, the half of them can't fucking see because they're 95. Well, where are they supposed to find the money? Well, under a mattress, really? That's what really bugs me, is it's going to cost them more. Okay, where are they supposed to get it? What, they're going to go out and work, are they? Can't see, can't hear properly. Some of them can barely move.
Sir Keir Starmer was outlining his plans to solve the housing crisis by building 1.5 million new houses today, but he's been overshadowed by his deputy leader's very own housing crisis. Angela Rayner is tonight facing a potential police investigation over accusations that she lied about her living circumstances before she sold her former council house. Now, Rayner bought a former council house in Manchester in 2007 under Margaret Thatcher's Right to Buy scheme, before selling it 8 years later in 2015. But it's emerged that despite Rayner being registered at the address of that Manchester council house in 2010, her husband and 2 youngest children were registered at another address. Now, under electoral rules, voters must register at their permanent home address, and anyone that knowingly provides false information could face a criminal conviction and prison time.
British politics like this one. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Dark British. Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch our content without hitting the follow button. Subscribing is completely free. The political scene in Britain has taken yet another dramatic twist, and right at the centre of the storm is none other than Angela Rayner, Labour's outspoken deputy leader and housing minister. But this time, she's not making headlines for her fiery speeches or bold promises in Parliament. This time, she's under fire, and the one lighting the match is Katie Hopkins, never one to hold back. Hopkins has gone all in with her latest takedown, and let's be clear, this isn't some cautious critique or carefully worded opinion, it's a full-throttle, no-holds-barred attack. According to Hopkins, Rayner's recent actions represent one of the most shameless displays of political hypocrisy Britain has seen in years. From the moment she opened her mouth, it was obvious Hopkins wasn't here to play nice. She wasn't interested in polished PR lines or carefully staged photo ops. She came to call out what she saw as betrayal, plain and simple. To her, Rayner's recent behavior isn't just a political misstep, it's a slap in the face to the very people she claims to represent. In Hopkins's words, complying is overrated. And while that may sound like classic Katie, there was real emotion behind it, tapping into the frustration of millions who feel left behind, lied to, or ignored. And can you really blame them? Rayner, who built a reputation on fighting for the working class, now finds herself at the center of a scandal so blatant, Hopkins quipped, that even a toddler could see through it. And honestly, that's not far from the truth at its core. This story is painfully simple and devastating in what it reveals.
All of them expect to see a lot of words explaining this and a lot of wiggling and a lot more of Angela Rayner with her terrible pronunciation and her ginger growler. Prices of the whole summer, when you don't need your heating on, they put the price down. The minute it's fucking freezing and we're about to go into properly Baltic, they shove the price up by 10%. And my question is, where are elderly people supposed to get an extra 150 quid or 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever their extra bill is, right? 300 pounds. Where are they supposed to rustle that? What would you like them to do, you bastard?
As it turns out, Angela Rayner may have landed herself in serious trouble not for something she said, but for something she did. The issue? Her living situation at the time she bought a council house under Margaret Thatcher's Right to Buy scheme. Rayner purchased the property at a major discount, a benefit designed to help people in genuine need of affordable housing. But then she flipped the home for a hefty profit. Here's where the real controversy begins. Evidence suggests she may not have even been living there when she bought it. According to electoral records, while Rayner was officially registered, at the Manchester address in question, her husband and children were listed at a completely different address. Under UK electoral law, you are legally required to register at your actual permanent residence. Falsifying that kind of information isn't some minor slip-up, it's a criminal offense. For someone who holds one of the highest offices in British politics, this isn't just awkward, it could be career-ending. But if you ask Katie Hopkins, this is just the beginning. To her, the scandal over the house is only a symptom of something far deeper. Because while Rayner is being grilled over her past, it's her present performance that's even more damning. One of her boldest promises when she took office was clear: to build 1.5 million new homes to ease the UK's worsening housing crisis. That pledge was front and center in Labour's campaign, spoken with passion, printed in manifestos, repeated at rally after rally, yet now that promise seems to have disappeared. No clear plan. No real progress. No explanation. And Hopkins didn't let that slide. She tore into Rayner's record with force, pointing out the brutal irony of a housing minister who once made money off council housing, only to deliver absolutely nothing for the people still stuck on waiting lists, trapped in overcrowded flats, or sleeping rough on the streets. And just when you think it can't get worse, well, it does.
What would you like them to do? Would you like them to what? Auction off a kidney, maybe? I mean, what use is a fucking 85-year-old kidney? It's probably knackered. It's had that much piss go through it over a whole lifetime. They can't sell one of them. What do you want them to sell? Their eyeballs, well, the half of them can't fucking see because they're 95. Where are they supposed to find the money? Well, under a mattress, really? That's what really bugs me, is it's going to cost them more. Okay, where are they supposed to get it? What, are they going to go out and work, are they? Can't see, can't hear properly. Some of them can barely move.
While the British public braces for yet another brutal winter, with energy bills climbing once again, Katie Hopkins cuts through the noise with a question that hits like a punch to the gut. What are the elderly supposed to do? How is a 90-year-old pensioner living alone supposed to find an extra £300 just to keep the heat on? Should they auction off a kidney? Sell their glasses? Their very eyeballs? It sounds extreme, but Hopkins makes it clear these aren't jokes. This is the bleak, heartbreaking reality for far too many people across the UK. And the anger in her voice isn't staged or rehearsed. It's raw. It's real. It comes from genuine despair over what Britain is becoming. She isn't just speaking about the crisis, she's speaking for millions who feel forgotten, mocked, and slowly crushed by a system that's supposed to protect them, not punish them. And when Hopkins unleashes her fury, it isn't only aimed at Angela Rayner, it's fired straight at Labour's leadership as a whole. Because this isn't just about one politician's hypocrisy, it's about a party that promised hope and change, but instead has delivered more of the same: suffering, empty promises, and political self-preservation over public service. Hopkins doesn't hold back. She names Rachel Reeves, Keir Starmer, reminding the public that Labour, despite its image, has become complicit in a system that punishes the most vulnerable. The elderly, the poor, the disabled, those who can't walk, can't hear, can't even get out of bed without help. What are they supposed to do when their heating bills spike in the middle of January? Lie in bed and freeze? That's the brutal question Hopkins throws at the government. And so far, no one seems willing to answer. She points to the grotesque pattern everyone can see. Energy companies slash prices in the summer when heating isn't needed, then hike them by 10% the moment frost hits the windows. It's calculated, it's cruel, and it crushes the very people least able to survive it. And meanwhile, Angela Rayner, the woman once hailed as a champion of the working class, seems more focused on surviving her own political scandals than on doing anything meaningful to help those in desperate need.
Sir Keir Starmer was outlining his plans to solve the housing crisis by building 1.5 million new houses today, but he's been overshadowed by his deputy leader's very own housing crisis. Angela Rayner is tonight facing a potential police investigation over accusations that she lied about her living circumstances before she sold her former council house. Now, Rayner bought a former council house in Manchester in 2007 under Margaret Thatcher's Right to Buy scheme, before selling it 8 years later in 2015. But it's emerged that despite Rayner being registered at the address of that Manchester council house in 2010, her husband and 2 youngest children were registered at another address. Now, under electoral rules, voters must register at their permanent home address, and anyone that knowingly provides false information could face a criminal conviction and prison time.
Keir Starmer says we must not allow foreign interference in our elections. He warns that Elon Musk allegedly funding Nigel Farage poses a threat to democracy. But as Katie Hopkins sharply points out, this is the same Keir Starmer who once sent over 100 Labour Party volunteers to the United States to campaign for Hillary Clinton, flights paid for, hotels covered, Labour footing the bill to meddle in another country's election. So what's that, if not foreign interference? Hopkins calls it hypocrisy, not just staggering but blinding. And where's Angela Rayner in all of this? As Labour's deputy leader and housing minister, she was supposed to be a driving force, a woman of influence, a voice for the voiceless. But when it came to the one issue she claimed to champion, housing, Rayner fell silent. No bold action, no firm leadership, just backpedaling, dodging, disappearing. Hopkins calls it exactly what it is: cowardice, and worse, betrayal. It doesn't stop there. Rayner now faces fresh criticism for reportedly planning to scrap the right to buy scheme, the very same policy she once used to purchase a council house, flip it, and walk away with a £50,000 profit. Let that sink in. A politician who once used a government scheme to get ahead is now trying to deny that opportunity to others. Hopkins calls it not just tone-deaf, but disgusting. She says what many are thinking but few dare to say. This no longer feels like political mismanagement. It feels deliberate. The pain inflicted on working families, the elderly, the vulnerable, this isn't some bureaucratic mistake. It feels like a conscious choice, a choice to ignore, a choice to abandon, maybe even a choice to control. That's why Hopkins makes her final, haunting plea to the elderly: put the heating on. If you fall into debt, so be it. If someone comes knocking at your door with a badge, don't answer, just survive. Because she warns, this government isn't coming to save you. And as for Angela, Rayner Hopkins has made her position crystal clear. The gloves are off. She's not backing down. She won't let Rayner hide behind polished press statements, staged interviews, or party spin. Not while millions are cold, hungry, and hopeless. Because this is no longer just another political row. This is personal. This is about dignity. This is about justice. This is about the truth. And if Labour's leadership, especially Angela Rayner, thinks they can keep walking this road unchecked, they'd better think again, because Katie Hopkins isn't finished. And neither, she says, is the British public. Subscribe now to Britain Uncensored and stay with us as we pull back the curtain on power, hold leaders to account, and amplify the rising chorus of voices demanding real change. This fight is far from over.